Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Another episode of Trash Talk. I'm TJ O'Connor. With me, as always, Damian the Wolverine Hill. Trash Talk is joined tonight by Tyler Mathison, who is fighting at LFA 82, February 21st, Mystic Lake Casino. Trash Talk is brought to you, as always, by our lovely sponsors, Valhalla Combat Sports Incorporated, Ink Shrinks Tattoo, Origin Wellness CBD, Spartan Martial Arts, James Clark Sports Psychology and Hypnosis Therapy, The Fighters, and my mom. Tyler, thanks for joining us tonight. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Can't complain, especially we're just a few weeks out from LFA 81 or 82. Two. Yeah. Wow. You know what I meant. So we're not too far out. How are you feeling the closer we get to this fight?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling, I'm starting to peak. You start to get to that where everything's working, So now it's just about trying to maintain the body and kind of get the weight coming off and ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, just to be fighting, this is going to be now your third LFA fight in just 5 professional fights. For a young fighter, the lights might be a problem sometimes. Do you feel like you're starting to get comfortable in the cage now? You've been in there for 30 minutes now. That's a lot more than most guys.
Yeah, and I think, too, like when I was an amateur, there's RFA and Legacy and all those, so... And then that CFFC, that was a big one too. That was actually kind of certain events feel bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Everybody likes to fight under the likes the bigger the better, right? So I don't know. I feel like I perform better if it feels bigger. So I like it.
Yeah, definitely, and just being able to perform in the spotlight. So just a little bit of background for the fans that might not know. How about a little background as far as yourself? How did you get into martial arts? Where do you train? Things like that.
Right. Well, I got into it. Well, I think in high school, I'd run on the treadmill all the time, right, trying to lose weight for wrestling. And I started watching WEC because they showed WEC on Versus. It's like, 24/7 is on Versus, right?
OG shit right there.
Yeah. So I started getting into that, and I knew probably like my junior, sophomore year, I was like, I got to do this. This is going to be, my next thing. And so I started going to a gym in Omaha. I'm from Nebraska. So I started going to a gym in Omaha with like an assistant wrestling coach or whatnot, and kind of just hasn't stopped since.
Yeah. What was your first attraction into MMA when you're watching the Versus, of course? But like, what about watching the fights while you're running on the treadmill got you into it? Was it somewhat of the fact that so many wrestlers have transferred over and had so much success, or was it one of those things where like there was a little bit being held back in the wrestling because you're not allowed to hit a guy?
No, it's my ego. Like I feel like I'm sometimes in a bad way, but sometimes I think it helps me out, right? I feel like I can beat anybody up in the world. So as this dumb high school kid, I'm watching these guys. I'm like, they suck. I could fucking destroy them, right? And then obviously it takes a little while to get there, but I still feel that way.
Dude,
so it's just about that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just that
I feel
edge.
that so much.
That mental edge, right?
Yeah. I relate to what you're saying so much. And and you talk about being a small world. Being a kid, like you said, you're from Nebraska. You're watching WEC. I know personally one of my first WEC experiences was watching a gentleman who we all are a little bit familiar with now, named Brock Larson, when he was fighting a WEC fight against Kevin Kanabjian. And I remember just sitting at my house, this was years ago, and they go, oh, it's a Midwest throwdown. And this guy's from Minnesota. And I was like, oh, shit, I'm on board right now. This is long before I ever trained. And then to watch that, to be a kid from Omaha, to end up training with Brock. And obviously this MMA world is a small world, but how did that all turn out to play? How did you end up in St. Cloud, Minnesota?
This is actually pretty funny. So one of the fights that I first saw Brock was against Carlos Condit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember that? But I was like, fuck yeah, Carlos Condit's the man. You know? So I'm rooting for Carlos Condit.
Yeah.
Carlos gets taken down. It looks like it's not going to be a very fun fight for him. Then he sneaks that armbar on Brock. And then, but yeah, so I ended up at Brock's because I was going to wrestle in college. So I went up to St. Cloud State to wrestle. And then the guys who I was training with in Omaha, disorderly conduct, that management group and stuff, they kind of hooked me up with Brock. And so I haven't looked back since. Now, in my personal opinion, nothing better around here than Brock. So.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got high-level jiu-jitsu. You guys cross-train with a bunch of other high-level guys, and I know Angel's there. He brings his boxing. He's always trying to get other guys to go over to where he's training for his boxing and also teaching over there. How's the room been like since you've been there and stuff? I mean, the growth we can see the growth from the outside, but how does it feel being inside that room?
Well, it's pretty crazy. I mean, well, when I first started with Brock, it was Blitz is what the gym was called, and it was McDonough was there. Tony was just getting ready to start, and then there was maybe like 5 or 6 guys, and then I grabbed another buddy that I was wrestling with. So it was just such a small group, and then now there's a ton of guys. And all studs. And now Jay Paulson just moved up here. He's a stud. So it's been good. Yeah.
Yeah, especially at your weight, like you said, Angel, Jay, there's so many guys, that concentration. And I feel like you guys all have such diverse skill sets. I mean, to where it allows everybody to feed off each other and get better. Getting into this fight a little bit, when did you actually find out about this fight? What's the camp been like just under 2 weeks out from fight night?
I think I signed the contract in like early December. So which is pretty nice because it seems sometimes you don't really get that much, don't get much of a training camp, early in your professional career, amateur career. It's more just taking fights whenever you hear about them. But camp's been great. My conditioning and everything just feels good. I don't know if this will definitely be the best me. So he's not going to get a guy that's like my last fight where it was maybe not the best me out there because I just didn't have the time to prepare for it. This one I have everything's perfect. He's going to get the best me, and it's going to be he's going to have a hard time, I think.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And you did touch on your last fight. We don't like to bring up losses too much with people, but I got a two-parter. What weight is this fight at actually?
45.
45. And your last fight was at 70 and you took it at 24 hours notice? James Krause type shit?
Yeah.
Dude, you're a badass motherfucker.
That's that ego. That's what I was talking about. I think I can beat anybody, and that's what gets me in trouble.
But I mean, you talk about that. You talk about the ego, and talk about the performance not being able to show up. Let's not go away. I mean, the decision ultimately might not have gone your way, but I mean, one judge had it your way. It was a split decision. It was a very closely contested fight. So to take that fight on such short notice, up 2 weight classes from where you normally compete. I mean, I know you're a little down on it still and you laugh and say it's a dumb decision, but I know that has to provide at least some sort of confidence in your ability to fight up 2 weight classes.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
Okay.
I still look back at that fight and I see a lot of mistakes I've made. And I was close, right? But it was a good learning experience,
Yeah. Well, I would say that I was still impressed with your performance at that fight. It's 24 hours notice going up 2 weight classes. Now, taking away from that fight, what do you think that you can take away from that fight and bring into this fight? And how's your confidence going into this one, knowing that you got a full camp, you're feeling the best that you have in a long time, and you actually got to get ready for this guy for a while, this one guy?
Right. No, I feel great. I don't think the good thing about a super like that 24-hour notice, you can't even think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't even think about the fight. It's just boom, now it's here, let's fight. Which is kind of like it almost felt like you're going into sparring. But having a full camp and really getting to like critique somebody and then kind of critique yourself and kind of figure out, different game plans, different ways to go about fighting. I think it'll bring out the best in me. So I don't know. It'll be fun. I'm pumped.
Oh man, I'm pumped too. And you have teammates fighting on the card with you. We mentioned Angel. How have you two been able to feed off of each other going into this fight, knowing that you guys get to prepare for battle on the same date at the same location?
Uh, there's no better training partner than Angel because he wants to win just as much as I do in every aspect, right? So if we're boxing and he beats me in boxing, it pisses me off. And if we're wrestling, I beat him in wrestling, it pisses him off, even though that's not his strong suit and boxing is not my strong suit. So having been able to work with him for the last 6-ish years, yeah, the amount of progress we've made because of each other, I think is huge. I wouldn't be where I'm at without him. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, now looking forward into this fight with all the training and all the momentum that you carry behind you, what type of fight do you expect to give the fans this time around?
I kind of have the same. I mean, I have the same philosophy, I guess. I did in wrestling, and now I do in fighting. Like I want to break people, right? Mentally, I want them to break in the cage, right? I want to see. That's what's fun about it,
Yeah.
Is to actually watch him wilt in front of you. So the goal is to make him wilt, and by the second round, put him away. So it's obviously my strong suit's wrestling, so I'm going to use that to put a pace on him that he can't keep up with, and then once I've put it on him where he feels he can't be there, doesn't want to be there anymore, then I have a bunch of other tools that I can put him away with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Just to have the mindset there, and that you can feel the confidence coming across even through the computer screen here. I'm excited. Like I said, just less than 2 weeks out. Before we do wrap this one up here tonight, always like to give an open platform just to thank anybody inside the gym that's been there for you, any sponsors, anybody outside the gym that is able to support you for the camp. So the platform is yours.
Oh man, just the teammates, everybody. I mean, the guys that don't even have fights lined up right now that are stepping up in their training just because they know that we need it. So, and I try to do the same when they have fights, just because I know how much we're a small team, so everybody's got to step up when when we got something going on. But so that's been awesome. Then obviously Brock, he's one of the best coaches out there. I got Joe Diedrich and then Chaz for my hands, and we'll be able to show everybody what we've been working on.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't wait. The fans that are watching, if you don't have tickets now, get them right now, this second. Go online, get them. Do they get them at Mystic or mysticlake.com, or do they get them at Cage Tix or whatever? Do you know?
It's that oh man, I can't remember the website right now.
I'll put a link. I'll put a link in it'll pop up on the bottom, and there'll be a link in the description. You make sure you reach out to these fighters. You get these tickets. February 21st, Mystic Lake Casino. Be there or be a hoe. Like and subscribe to Trash Talk with Damien and TJ also.